Welcome to my 2025 Wrapped. This is everything that's gone on in 2025, and at the end I'm going to touch on my 2026 goals and what I'm going to be working towards in 2026, along with the kind of learnings that I've taken from 2025. The overall theme for 2025 for me was survival. It was getting through, rebuilding, and making sure I got through each and every day. 2025 is probably going to be one of the toughest years of my life. I started off the year living at home with my parents, with Daisy, and I bought my first home on my own. I decorated the entire place from scratch prior to moving in, furnished. Every single wall in the house has had a lick of paint within the space of 2 weeks before moving in. And the entire place is furnished. I truly wanted to make it feel like a lived-in home for when me and Daisy moved in, to kind of ease that burden of living on my own for the first time and Daisy moving and adjusting to a new environment. I really wanted it to make it feel homely for her, with her things in it, and make it feel a little bit personal. And it really has been our little sanctuary, and I absolutely love it. Not to say that it wasn't challenging getting there. And it was, I think I was literally hours away from losing the house. I'd lost a couple of houses before that, and we completed the day before we flew to Disney. And I'll be honest, that those first couple of months running into this year were the most stressful months and uncertain months I have ever experienced. And I never want to go through that again. I'm just going to put that out there. But yes, this year's just been about surviving, and in hindsight, I don't think I appreciated my own strength and how strong I have been through this time. It's not until every now and again one of my dear friends will either leave a comment on one of my posts, or she'll text me, or we'll be having a conversation about something and she'll just say, "You don't realise how strong you've been this year." And I think when you're in it, you don't feel like you are being. But in hindsight, when you look back at everything that I've been through and how I've dealt with it, and the fact that I'm still smiling on the other side of it and was still smiling kind of during it, does give testament to how strong I actually am and how much I have got me and Daisy through this year. On top of all of that, and as part of all of that, the amount of change that's taken place this year for me, both personally and professionally, is just insane. People say that one of the most stressful things that you can do in life is move house. I moved house, my office location changed, my Daisy's routine changed because she started school this year. My entire routine changed because I'm now the only person in the house and I'm the only person looking after everything. Hasn't changed significantly, but it has changed. The ability to pop out to the shop on an evening because I've forgotten the pasta. I can't do. I have to organise that in advance because I can't leave Daisy in the house and she don't want to go to the shop. She don't want to go to the shop at 8 o'clock at night, or even potentially later when she's in bed. You just can't do it. Then professionally, my company has gone through significant change this year, and change for the better, but any change is painful and difficult and time consuming and outside of your business as usual role, which has put on additional strain and pressure from that side of things as well. So when I actually look at the amount of things that I've actually had to adapt to and change during the year, this is a self-praising wrap-up, but pat on the head for me, I don't even know how I did it. It was definitely one foot in front of the other, 1% better every day. Let's just keep moving. kind of attitude, and that has got me to Christmas, where I feel a lot more put together, a lot more grounded, a lot more settled. Like, I've done all of the big things that I had to do this year. Like, my car's been a nightmare, but we're getting there. And I feel like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that is a really exciting place to be, particularly in December, looking down the barrel of 2026. And it's really easy in the moment to think, I've just not achieved anything this year. I've just been firefighting, survival mode. And then I started writing things down that I've done, and some of them are really small, but they're achievements nonetheless. So I've obviously bought a new house. Ta-da, sat in it. Looks lovely. I've actually read my first book, which might sound dramatic to the majority of you out there. Any of you that live in the book talk land, like, you'll be mortified. But yes, I read my first book this year. I read Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO, 33 Laws of Business, and really enjoyed it. And I've actually started my second book as well, and just bought my third today. All along that genre of like business development, self-help. And that's really where my passion and my love lies. It always has done since I was at school. I've always enjoyed business studies, finance, understanding how a business ticks and how you can make it work and what the component parts are, the kind of logistics around people and motivating factors. And I won't bore you, but I think I found my genre of book this year, and that has made it interesting for me to read, and I really enjoyed it. Reading's not something that is easy for me, but I definitely really enjoyed that book, and I'm enjoying the ones that I've started. Once I finish them, I'll share with you what they are and if I enjoyed them or not. I think I touched on in one of my last videos that I've started eating more healthily, being in my own house and having some form of routine, whether it be structured or not. I have dropped a dress size this year, which, yes, it's only one dress size, but Rome wasn't built in a day. We're taking things slowly, but everything is moving in the right direction, and I need to give myself credit for that, because in the world of stress and being overwhelmed, as in the previous few years prior to this year, my default was food. I'm bored, I want to turn my brain off, was food. I don't do alcohol, I don't do drugs, I don't do smoking. My crutch is chocolate, and I definitely leaned on that historically, which got me to a place where I didn't even recognise myself. So the fact that that started to shift back in the other direction, I'm really proud of. I took myself to see Hamilton at the Sunderland Empire. It was absolutely incredible. I saw one of my friends go, and I was like, oh, I'd love to go that. And I was like, oh, who can I get to go with me? And I was like, no, just book it, go on your own. I went one night after work. It was amazing. I really wanted to go back again, but finances allowing, I didn't. But it was so good, and I was really proud of myself, just taking myself along and doing the thing that I enjoyed, regardless of whether anyone else was with me or not. I attended 2 weddings. So 2 of my beautiful friends got married this year, which posed its own challenge. I enjoyed being there, I enjoyed being with my friends, I enjoyed celebrating their marriage. However, particularly the first one that I attended was a struggle, personally, because you sat watching someone achieve what they've been looking forward to for so long in marrying the person that they love, as mine's currently imploding / already exploded, and that's difficult. So that was difficult to sit in that, but my friends are incredible. I was fine, but it gives you a little bit of that like instant reflection, which did make those days a little more tricky than they would have been historically. We went on 2 holidays, which was incredible. We went to Orlando in February. We went to Disney World with Daisy, which, I'll be perfectly honest, after the start of the year that I had, and the fact that I completed on the house the day before we flew was just what the doctor ordered. And you can tell that by, if you've watched any of the Disney vlogs, I've got the full series here on my channel, I get sick halfway through the holiday, and that is just testament to the fact that I was just in pure survival mode. And the second that I've switched off, my body's just gone, nah, can't do this anymore. You're okay now. You can get ill. And I truly was ill during that holiday, but didn't take away from any of the magic. And like, there was days when I literally couldn't speak, and I was like having to point to my mum to get her to speak to people for me, because I just couldn't. But it was incredible. And then in July, prior to Daisy starting school, we headed to Greece for a week. Was it a week or was it 10 days? I think it was 10 days. Was it a week? I can't remember. Honestly, this year has been a complete blur. But we went to Greece. It was amazing. It was a fully chilled out holiday. That's where I read my first book. Daisy loved being in the pool. It was just a nice switch off your brain type holiday. And again, just what the doctor ordered right then. It was busy season at work, and it was just amazing. A couple of other quick things, but the main thing this year was the precious memories that I've created with my mum, my dad, and Daisy, and my friends. And it's just been absolutely incredible. I have loved every moment of it. I've also mentioned that Daisy started school. It's another big change for us, and a big routine change as well. And she's absolutely thrived in that. And she just makes me so happy and so proud. And then finally, I restarted my YouTube channel. Maybe it's a bit hit and missy, but I started it. I took the plunge. I don't think I'd uploaded for 2 or 3 years, which is understandable given what's been going on. However, it would have been so easy for me to just go, no, I'm just not going back to it. But it's something that I love, something that I adore, something that I enjoy connecting with people on. And I've thoroughly enjoyed getting back into it. Like I said, the routine thing's been a bit of a challenge, and just getting back to it and making sure that I have the basics sorted so I can spend the time on things like YouTube that I really, really love and enjoy doing. And I think one of the things that I've learned this year is, I heard this term the other day from a podcast, procrastination dysmorphia. I feel like I'm the world's worst procrastinator, and won't do things because my brain's too busy, and I'll be honest, I still do slightly feel like that. But if you look at what I've achieved this year, and obviously I've not touched on professional too much because we'll keep that separate, I've done a hell of a lot this year. And sitting on the sofa on a night watching TV, I shouldn't feel guilty for. And I think there's a lot of us that feel like we should be doing something with every single minute of our day to better ourselves. And the hardest thing that we find to do is to sit and relax and take care of ourselves and just give ourselves a minute. And that is something that I'm going to try and take away into 2026, that I don't have to be burning myself out 24/7 to feel like I've achieved something. You can achieve things between the hours of 9 and 5, and that is good enough. There are things that I want to do on top of that, which is just like personal passion projects and things that I enjoy doing, but they shouldn't feel like a chore or a job. They should be enjoyment. They shouldn't feel like I am forced to do them. I should be doing them because I'm enjoying them, and not because I feel like I'm not doing enough. Because 9 times out of 10, we are all doing far too much and actually need to rein it back rather than do more. Which moves me on to 2026. which starts tomorrow. And what do I want to achieve in 2026? And I am going to be very mindful about how I set these goals, because I and you only have the same 24 hours in a day that anybody else has. I can't make more. I would love to, but I know that if I don't get my sleep, I'm not a nice human. And if I don't get my sleep, I don't perform as well. If I don't get my sleep, I want to sit on the sofa and cabbage all day and not use my brain because my brain can't function. But that is all to say that if I want to add things to my life and my routine and things going into 2026, I also need to consider taking things away that are either not serving me or don't produce the same amount as joy as something else, or where I feel like I may be wasting time. Because simply saying, right, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to read 3 books a week, all of that stuff takes time, and time is the one commodity you can't make more of. So what I want to do in 2026 is I want to start working on my passion projects, which is things like YouTube, social media, creating things. I've got a Cricut upstairs that I've never used. I love planning and organisation and sharing and helping people. Like, my biggest thing on my YouTube channel, which I think I've lost a little bit of along the way, is I want to help others. All I want to do is make one person's life a little bit better every single day, because to me there's no better joy than supporting and helping someone else. And some of my friends would say that's to my own detriment, which, I mean, let's be honest, I probably agree, but it's at the core of who I am. And I wouldn't be Aimee if I didn't do those things. So I want to help in any way, shape or form that I can in the new year, particularly around the planning of Disney World trips. And this is not to make you have the best, most amazing trip in the world. This is because I have seen countless friends, people we've met on holiday in Greece, work colleagues, drop me messages going, I'm going to Disney, or I want to go to Disney, but I just don't know where to start. There's all these Facebook groups. Everyone's got an opinion. It just seems massively overwhelming. Let's just not go. And I want everybody to experience that magic. I think everybody should do it at least once. And I think you can do it without feeling massively overwhelmed. You can have fun, you can create amazing core memories, and you can do it without feeling like you need a holiday when you get home. And I want to show people how to do that. And that's a Disney World that's kept me coming back for 16 times over the last 35 years. I just absolutely love it. And it just gives me pure joy seeing other people enjoy it as well. So as part of those passion projects, I can't just add them into my life, because let's be realistic, I'm a busy human anyway. I am busy. I have a full-time demanding job. I have a little human. I'm a single parent. It's mental. However, what I do notice is I spend a lot of time on an evening either watching YouTube or watching Netflix series. And 9 times out of 10, it's stuff I've already seen. And like last night, I was sat watching the telly or looking for something to watch on the telly. It was like 6 o'clock at night. And I was like, I don't know what to put on. I actually don't know what to put on. I feel like I've completed it. Completed YouTube, completed Netflix. Which I know is not possible, but for me, I feel like I've completed it. So I took myself away and started working on something creative and spent a couple of hours doing that. And I think when I think of passion projects and doing things like this, I think of this big, massive project and something I want to do. Where instead, I can just spend half an hour here and there on it. I don't need to do it all in one night. Like, you need to give yourself grace and a pass to do that, which is the thing that I'm not very good at. So I'm going to try and work on that in the future, but that is what I'm trying to subtract from my life to then add in these passion projects. The next goal for 2026 is I want to bolster my savings, because my savings are almost non-existent at this point, because I have bought and furnished an entire house this year and it's been a lot. It's not cheap. I feel like all I've done this year is tap, 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 tap. Just paid constantly, and I'm done. I'm tapping out of it, pun intended. So in 2026, I really want to work towards some financial goals. I can go into these in more detail in a separate video, but I've got some savings goals and some repayment goals of some debt that I really, really, really want to work towards and get them sorted towards the end of this year. And again, the subtracting part of that is Aimee, stop spending, but I feel like I can't put anything else in the house at this point because it's too full. So there isn't any other really big expenditure that I need to do for the house or anything like that. Like I said, I did a big bang approach to the house in the sense of I got everything done before I moved in, because I knew because I was so busy, I didn't want to have the upheaval of trying to decorate around living in the house, trying to get the garden done while living in the house. I just thought, right, I'll just stay at my mum and dad's for another couple of weeks while the sofa's coming and we'll do the entire thing, which is what I did. But it puts a significant hole in the bank balance all at once, which I was expecting, but still hurts, let's be honest. So that is the plan for 2026, is to try and look towards those savings goals to make life a little bit more stable, in the sense of having those emergency funds available in case something does happen, which is a position I much prefer to be in than not having them in place. But like I said, I can go into another video in more detail with all of that in. And finally, I want to work on my health, in the sense of I've already been doing it. Like I said, I've dropped a jeans size in the year, which has been amazing, but I want to continue that. I want to start adding exercise into my routine, and at the end of the year I just want to feel fitter, healthier, more confident and happier in the way I move, and things being a little bit less stiff and feeling a bit stronger and all those things. How I'm going to fit that in, I'm not too sure yet. I've obviously started on the healthy eating side of things. I'm looking towards putting in a full meal plan, which I used to have in place. I used to have a rotating 4-week meal plan, which I used to do. So I'm looking to redevelop that so I can kind of take away that decision fatigue, because when there's only one of you in the house, you are the person making all the decisions. And also at work, there's a lot of decisions to be made. So sometimes on a night, I just don't want to make another choice. Don't make me do it. I don't want to pick. So I'll just mindlessly either go for a takeaway or just pick something out of the freezer, which if it's already set out for me in a recipe planner or a meal plan, that will help. And in terms of getting to the gym, obviously I have my little human with me quite a lot of the time, which makes setting up a routine for going to the gym a little bit more challenging. But I might be able to do other things like going for a walk on a lunchtime instead of working through my lunch, which is quite a frequent occurrence. So like changing slight habits, something small, nothing dramatic, just to make those small 1% gains each and every single day. And I think that is the main thing that I'm going to take into 2026, is 1% incremental improvements every single day. We can't go from 0 to 1,000 as much as I would love it. Absolutely love it. So to put that in monetary terms, if you saved £1 on the 1st of January, £2 on the 2nd of January and £3 on the 3rd of January, and continue that for the whole 365 days of the year, you would have saved £66,795. If you can imagine yourself being 66,000% better by the end of this year, wouldn't you do it? And all you need to do is just do one thing each day that's going to move you closer to that goal. And that doesn't have to be massive. It could be as simple as just setting up that TikTok account that you wanted to create. So that is my goals for this year. I'm not doing big, brash, bold goals. I am doing simple, achievable, but will make a big impact when compounded goals. And also just think about, at the end of the year, what would you be happy to say that you've achieved? Do you want to say that you've hit that specific number? And if you do, great, go for it. If you want to say, I've just been consistent and I've moved forward and I've progressed from where I was last year, do that. Because we're all busy, we've all got lives, people fall off the wagon, stuff happens, and the biggest thing is just trying to get back on there and continue on. If you fall off the wagon and you think it's an instant failure, the bigger failure is not getting back on and doing it again and starting again. That has been my 2025 wrapped and my 2026 goals. So for all of you that have made it to the end, I just want to say an absolutely happy new year for 2026 and all the best to you, your friends and your family. And like I say, it's lovely to have goals, but just give yourself grace. You've only got so much time in the day. We don't want to burn out trying to do too much. Think about what's important to you and focus on that. With that being said, let me know what your goals and things that you want to work on in 2026 are, and your biggest achievements in 2025, because it's really important to look back from how far you have come. Because if we don't have that measuring stick, we just constantly feel like we're not moving anywhere. And I will love you and leave you. And remember, don't forget to make your own magic, because if you don't, no one else will do it for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.